I was born into a family where at least my grandparents, my maternal grandparents, came from a band that my great grandfather, Charlie Myers, had a band called Charlie's Blue Blazers.
Okay.
And they played barn dances and stuff down back in the 20s. And he and his brother were playing back in the 19th century. His brother was a fiddler, and so was he. Brother got, he was ringing the piglets there on the farm, and got attacked by the sow, and bit through his shoulder, and that messed up his fiddling. But Great Grandpa Myers, he kept on fiddling. He had lost a leg, so his farm had dwindled down to a chicken coop and an orange cat.
Okay.
But he used to sit out there fiddling in his wheelchair with his orange cat on his lap to the chickens. Anyway, I go over to his house, and he would turn on the radio on top of the refrigerator and just play along with anything that came on. I
Sure.
thought, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that, and so I actually kind of worked it that way. I always had a piano to bang on, and my mother played it, and my grandma played it very well. And anyway, I took a musical aptitude test in the 4th grade, and they asked me, would you like to be in the band? I said, yes.
Right, sure.
What do you want to play? Drums? No, your pitch recognition is too good for drums. So I said, well, okay, cornet. And Mom said, I don't want to listen to you playing cornet. Okay, well, this is my step-grandpa, actually, the only grandpa I ever met, was a saxophonist in the Blue Blazers, and he had an alto sax in the attic.
Okay.
And I said, you won't have to buy me an instrument, but the band teacher butted in and says, now you play clarinet, and I'll teach you the saxophone in a half an hour. So, and that's what happened.
Similar instruments, but very different also. Yeah.
They're very different. The saxophone, you overblow at a octave, and the flute, you overblow it an octave, and the oboe, you overblow it an octave. But the clarinet's different. You overblow it an octave and a fifth. It goes to every other overtone, and so yeah, it's weird. I'm glad they did that to me now. Anyway, I love the clarinet anyhow, and all this is my mother's fault. She blamed herself for this. That I became her little experiment.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was her first child, and so she spent a whole lot of time with me in nursery rhymes and singing and things like that. And she blamed herself for being.
Did she play anything else other than the piano?
No, she just played the piano and sang.
Okay.
You were wanting to ask about harmonica.
Yeah. How did we get to harmonica?
We got to harmonica because I was at my grandma's house, my grandma, the pianist, and we were watching. It was the first television appearance of the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
On the Hollywood Palace, hosted by Dean Martin. And I was completely blown away with Brian Jones playing the harmonica. I said, did you hear the harmonica player? Yeah. Anyway, she went out without being prompted or anything. She went out and bought a harmonica for me.
Okay.
The next day. Kind of a nice one, really. A Koch chromatic diatonic harmonica.
Okay.
Anyway, so I started playing that. As a matter of fact, I took the harmonica and I waded out into the river in back of her house and sat on some rocks where nobody would bother me. And
It's kind of the dream place to play a harmonica. Yeah.
Yeah. And played till my lips bled. And at the end of the day, I could go. Yeah. So
Those are the basics.
well, yeah, I could play, and I was working on some other Stephen Foster song or something like that, and we moved to Colorado, and there was the guy who married my paternal grandmother's sister.
Okay.
What's that make him? I don't know. I guess he's my great uncle.
Great. Yeah. Yeah.
So he was a silversmith in Durango, Colorado, and he played harmonica really well.
Okay.
And so, like he says, and I was beginning to kind of play blues and stuff like that because I listened to the Rolling Stones, and they told me to listen to Muddy Waters and
Sure.
And stuff like that, and I did. But he says, block it off. Play out of the corner of your mouth and block it off, and lift your tongue off of the and you'll get like a musical accompaniment.
I love it.
Oh yeah, it's
So
it's much better.
Where are you putting your tongue in that? So
You block off, but it's but it seems like about 3 holes and play out of the corner, and then you can also get playing out of both corners of your mouth. You can get octaves, and it feels like your tongue is about that wide, but it's really only blocking off about 2 holes.
okay.
And so yeah. You know, it's interesting. It kind of gets you sounding like an accordion sometimes.
Yep, sure does.
But then a lot of harmonica players just play. It just playing single holes.
Singular.
I listened to yesterday. I listened to a lot of Paul Butterfield, which has been really important to me. He's just for intensity, a tone and stuff. I like him a lot. He never plays above the 6th hole. Here we got 10 holes.
Never plays above the 6th one?
Never plays above the. That's as high as he gets on the. Yeah, but he doesn't need to.
Right, sure.
You know, he's got his particular style, and it does not. I think a lot of harmonica players do that. The 6th hole is where it all changes. See?
Oh, yeah.
So that's where. So you can bend.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Where does bending come into play?
I couldn't believe this, but I checked it out, and it's true that you, as long as the partner note of that particular hole is below it, you can do this thing with your airstream, whereas it will choke off the reed you're playing and play the partner reed.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
And it almost gets down to the note, the note that you
That's wild.
and with this little thing, which is like a whammy bar.
Wait, what little thing?
It's not a chromatic slide. This is a mutant harmonica.
Okay.
So.
Wait, so is that coming into play with the bend, or no?
It only it only works on the blown notes, but on the drawn notes, you can bring it deeper. You can bring it right on down to. See?
Yeah. All right. I didn't know that.
No, this is it's called a turbo harp. The harmonica of the future, it says here right on the case. But and it's pretty neat. I always have this hanging off of my bag here, but it's the onlyest one I got of this. But anyway, yeah, that's how it works.
So the playing out of the corners of your mouth, how much of that translates over to when you are doing like dual sax? Is it
No, it's
similar territory or nothing like it at all?
Not really anything except, I don't know, mouth muscle maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, playing two saxophones is what Rassan Roland Kirk would say. Well, he's playing two melodies. I mean, he's but he says you split your mind in two parts. One part say "oobla dee," the other part say, "What does it mean?"
I love that.
But yeah, it's weird. You have to think in two different keys because here's the tenor saxophone and here's the alto saxophone. This tenor is in B flat, and so you can't think about it. It's too hard.
Yeah, I would think so.
Just let your fingers do the walking.
Yeah.
You know, so is the only thing to do. I worked it out playing the same thing, working on penny whistles. So I can play all kinds of stuff on penny whistles, just on two different, and it's better that way because the melody line and the harmony line at some particular part, they can switch and you can play whole scales.
Ah, okay.
And if I were any good, I could play that on saxophones too, using the palm keys, but it's really hard.
Yeah, more of a reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, because, I mean, here, in order to play that note, I mean, your little finger would have to be, a foot long or more.
Right.
You know?
You need a third arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Roland Kirk had stuff. He had it worked out that he could actually trigger that other hole down there. I don't know if he did it himself or had
An assistant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you need assistance for. You can do like harmonica. There are things I can't do that some people can.
Sure.
And it requires the assistance of a technician who will tighten up that thing in such a way that you can get 3 chromatic octaves out of that little 10-hole job.
Really?
Yeah. It has to be very tight, and you have to get an extended technique, whereas you do overblows and overdraws, and I can't do that on these, except some I can do. A note I've been always looking for. I go to play one, and I can get a minor third up on some harmonicas when they're really tight.
Okay.
And I was looking for that a flat 3, good for blues playing.
Sure.
So that's what I wanted, and sometimes I can get it, but I can't count on it. I need a harmonica technician to make me a magic harmonica.
So how do you tighten up a harmonica?
It has to do with the reeds and the clearance of the reeds to the hole.
Okay.
I think. I'd like to know more about that. There's an instrument. I mean, the ancestor of the harmonica and the accordion, the free reed instruments.
Mm-hmm.
It's in China.
Okay.
Like 500 BC.
What was it called?
The sheng.
The sheng?
Sheng.
Okay.
Which I think means eloquent voice. Yeah.
And was it small or was it a bigger thing?
Oh, it's a pretty big thing. It looks like a teapot with a whole bunch of bamboo things coming out of the top.
Okay.
And you play it kind of like that. Confucius supposedly played one.
Really?
Like way back when. And somebody, oh, I know, the accordion. Okay, some Italian guys had gone over to China and brought back a sheng, and they said, wow, it sounds really good, but you can't smoke while you're playing it.
Oh, there you go.
You know, so they invented the accordion. Put it on some bellows, put the reeds on the bellows, and
Free your mouth up.
yeah, yeah,
Smoking.
And yeah. So you can go, go ahead and smoke while you're playing. Okay, of course, you can't smoke when you're playing the harmonica.
Not very well.
But that started happening 1840s,
Oh, wow.
maybe.
Okay.
Honers start making it back then or something. Anyway, Abraham Lincoln had been kind of hip because it said that he played it.
Really?
He played the harmonica, which is a pretty new instrument.
Uh-huh.
Unless I've been misinformed.
Look at that, Abraham Lincoln being cooler than we ever thought.
Oh, I knew he was cool.
He was already cool.
Yeah.
Just cooler now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, he liked music. We know that. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to get you in the studio and hear you play some harmonica. How about that?
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
All right.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.